What is up, guys, and welcome back to Daze's Lost Legacy, episode 2. It is good to be back. A lot of gaming news has happened, but here we only discuss the biggest news in the gaming media since the past 7 days. I have 3 big topics for you that hit just in the past couple of days. 2 of these topics hit, and then a few days ago, one topic made the rounds, and that one's more of an item. Usually an item is not a full story, but I think the implications of this is very good for the gaming industry. So that's why I'm going to talk about that one. But let's go ahead. Let's get right into it. Let's go ahead and get started. And let's talk about that. God of War now has a release date, and that's April 20th. And in the word of LeBron James, after he won his first ring at Miami, it's about damn time. It's about time that we heard on this new God of War band. And everyone's talking about they're already pre-ordering collector's edition. I really want that collector's edition. I really do. I want that statue. But man, putting out that $130 though, that's what I don't know about. I don't know if I can do that. PlayStation. I don't know if I can do that right now. I got a lot of your boys spending on. But that collector's edition is looking nice. I know some people are going to be shouting, don't pre-order, no, don't do it, no. You know how y'all bitch and moan like little babies. Listen, man, if someone wants to pre-order the game because they trust Santa Monica and they trust PlayStation, they have every right to pre-order this game. I have zero doubts that this game is going to get less than an 88 on Metacritic. I don't think it's going to get less than 88. And if it does get less than 88, it's going to ponder around the 85 zone. Don't even think for a second this is going to be in the 70s or the 60s. This game's going to be in the 80s for sure. Possibly even 90s. If it's as good as I think it's going to be good. If this is like the Logan of video games, which is what it's looking like right now, then you're going to expect this to sit around 93, 94 in Metacritic. Because that would be amazing. That'd be awesome. I'm hoping this is Game of the Year contender right here. It looks like it. I don't have a doubt that it's really going to be. And I'm going to pre-order the game. I won't pre-order the collector's edition. As bad as I want that collector's edition, I just can't spare that. So I'm not going to be pre-ordering the collector's edition. But I am going to pre-order this game. Probably not through Amazon. You can't trust Amazon anymore. So I'm going to have to wait till I actually, get the money in hand, all of it, because I don't want to put down like $5 and have to worry about it later and wait till I get all of it. Probably gonna do Best Buy. Okay, and for those out there that don't know, the Gamers Club is so much better than what Amazon's doing right now. Gamers Club, you still get 20% off the game no matter what. Okay, it's not the whole Amazon where you have to pre-order it in order to get 20% off. You don't have to worry about it not getting shipped to your house either with the Best Buy Gamers Club. Just go and do it. Just go and do it. It's a lot better. Amazon's been letting a lot of people down. Now, they haven't done it to me. Well, they've done it to me once. On Gears 4, where it came the day after release date, not the day of. But they've gotten real bad. They've gotten real bad lately. And I don't think with a game like God of War, you want that to happen. You want that game day and date. So, and if you can't get it day and date, then you're going to go and seek it somewhere else. But you would already have paid Amazon. Because Amazon's going to tell you, it shipped and they've taken your money. When it hasn't moved anywhere. Maybe they've made a shipping label so they could take your money, but it hasn't shipped anywhere. So be careful when pre-ordering. Pick the right spots to pre-order, but you can go ahead and pre-order if you want to. I'm not going to sit here and tell you whether you should or you shouldn't. I really don't care. It's the people who care a little too much that annoy me, especially when it comes to games like this. Games that we just know are going to be good. Okay, I had no problem pre-ordering Uncharted 4 when that came out because I knew for a fact that was going to be in the 90s. I knew for a fact that was going to be greatness, and it was. And we're going to talk about Uncharted 4 at the end of the podcast. But back to God of War. This is a new thing for God of War. Now, they have said that pre-orders before that new trailer got released were a little bit soft. Well, they didn't say it. It was spread around that the pre-orders were soft. I don't think that's a sign of anything, really. I think people are kind of just tired of pre-ordering. So God of War with the soft pre-orders, It doesn't matter, especially with this new trailer. And now we got a release date. There's a level of hype that is generated now that wasn't on God of War when like it was at E3 this past summer. The hype level shot up in these past 24 hours like crazy because of the brand new trailer, and everyone really liked the trailer, and we got a date that's not far away. It's 3 months away. It's not like they said Q4 2018, that then people would have been a little bit pissed because it's like, you promised this for the first half, or Q1, which is technically not even making Q1 coming out in April, which is the beginning of Q2, but it's close. It's like, it's pretty much how they do Fallout, how Bethesda does Fallout, at least. Bethesda says, we got a new Fallout. It's coming out next month. It's coming out in 2 months. This is only 3 month. It's only a 3 month window, so that's not bad. That's not bad. It's technically less than 3 months because it's the 24th and it comes out on the 20th. You got a 4-day difference, but we're not gonna get into technicals. But we are gonna move on from God of War to talk about a big heavy hitter in. This is more than just about video games. It's about a whole ecosystem of gaming right here, and that's that the Xbox Game Pass is going to allow brand new games day and date on there. Exact same price. There's no jump in price for it. Still $9.99 a month, and you get to play brand new games. It has officially become the Netflix of the gaming industry right now. Now, I think at the moment, it's only going to be Xbox exclusives that do this, because you gotta imagine that it's hard to get someone like, I don't know, CD Projekt Red to agree to put their brand new game that they want you to pay $60 for on a streaming platform that they're not going to get as much money from. Now, Microsoft is not Netflix. And what I mean when I say that, I think Microsoft probably has more money than Netflix total. But Microsoft isn't Netflix in the way that Netflix will pay you huge, tremendous upfront, because they know that they're going to get that back on the back end on their streaming, plus extra. So they're not worried about it. I don't think Microsoft is going to do that with the third parties or even their own studios. I don't think they're going to give them a large chunk of change up front and say, hey, put this on Game Pass for people for $9.99 a month so that they can play it, and we're going to give you $30 million. Here you go. $30 million to put this on Game Pass. I don't think that's in Microsoft's game plan. As much money as Microsoft has, they could afford to do that. Take a little bit of a hit. Because we all know that when it comes to streaming, you don't make as much money as you're going to make on the actual sales. Musicians have come out and said it a bunch of times now. When it comes to the movie industry, it's the same thing. You're going to make more at the box office. $1 billion Star Wars. You're going to make more at the box office than you will on streaming, on Netflix, on Disney's upcoming streaming, on any streaming, Apple, doesn't matter. You're going to make more money at the box office. You're going to make more money on your individual CD sales, buys, and you're going to make more money on individual game buys, $60 a pop. Now, if Microsoft throws in, hey, like I said, put it on here. We're going to give you $50 million up front. Put your brand new game on here. Then yes, I could see a lot of people jumping in on that. Now, $50 million, that's probably a high price point because most games now only cost between like $50 and $100 million. So to say we're going to pretty much pay what you spent to make the game, that's not going to do that. But if you could say, here, we'll give you $5 to $10 million up front, I think that's a good deal. I think that's a good deal right there, because if you get 1 million copies sold of a game, $60 a pop, that's 60 mil. So, do you think that they're going to want to be like, risk that million in sales without some type of profit up front? Now, for some reason, I had to think about that math in my head when there was such an obvious answer. Like, I don't know why I had to think of what 1 million times 60 was. Wow, that's kind of scary. But I think, but this is a game changer. for Xbox, for Microsoft. It's not a game changer as far as it's going to do something to cause PlayStation to jump on the bandwagon. Because if PlayStation wanted to get on the bandwagon, they would have allowed EA access on PlayStation. They didn't. They turned it down. PlayStation doesn't care, man. They're winning. They're Charlie Sheen right now. Hashtag winning is what they are, man. They don't care. Charlie Sheen, he didn't care. He was a little upset when he got kicked off of, 2.5 Men. But he was still winning, man. They had to pay that boy $130 million. They had to pay him $130 million. He was winning. PlayStation's winning, so they don't care right now. But Game Pass, this is a big deal for Microsoft and Xbox. I think this is going to boost some sales. Not tremendously, no. But I think this is going to get people to jump on the Xbox and to play the Xboxes that they already have a little bit more. $10 a month, that's $120 a year. That's 2 video games. So you're paying for 2 full-price video games for a whole year, and you get to play any game you want. It sounds like a fairy tale. It sounds like it shouldn't exist, and it probably shouldn't exist because of the revenue that you're going to lose on some games, and the revenue that developers are going to lose on some games, and the money Microsoft's going to lose on some games. But we also have to remember a big chunk of the money that Microsoft is going to make is not just going to come from the individual game sales. It's going to come from the DLCs and like the extra currency and buying all these extra time on a game and things like that. That's where Microsoft is going to make their money. Games with services, man. How much you want to spend in the Division? You want an upgrade package? Okay, we get you 50 loot boxes for $100. That's where it's going to come from, man. So I don't think Xbox is too worried about that front. But they're going to have to lose some money on this. And they're going to have to be willing to lose a lot of money on this. And the developers, like I said, if they're not offering the developers upfront money, then the developers are going to have to be willing to lose some money on this. Non-exclusive Microsoft developers are going to have to be willing to lose some money on this. So that's my thoughts on that. And that's like I said, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. But on the opposite spectrum, PlayStation has done a big deal. This leads into the next one. PlayStation announced not only some rip-off Amiibo toys, which they're not really rip-off Amiibo toys. They just look like it. Can we stop with the whole, there's a rip-off of Amiibo. They don't do nothing similar. You can't put this thing on the PlayStation and boom, pop up, boost your stats in your game. No. It's just a toy. It's like a Funko Pop, bro. It's like a Funko. And it's the same price. It's the same price as one. So PlayStation has their own Funko type craps. Sort of. It's not even made by them. It's through a third party. We don't know if PlayStation's just licensing the characters or what's happening on that. They haven't really revealed that. But the big one was the shoe deal with Paul George. That's the NBA and Sony PlayStation combining to make a signature shoe. A limited edition signature shoe. That's a big deal. That's big news. That puts PlayStation in the heads of the sneaker fanatics, of the sneaker heads, and that puts PlayStation in the heads of the NBA fanatics who are going to see these. Maybe Paul George will wear them. He has to wear them at least once during the game. There's no way he just doesn't. They're going to see Paul George wearing these during the game, and they're going to be like, bro. I need a pair of those. And you're going to see the PlayStation logo when you buy them, and this is a whole new world that PlayStation has jumped into. Xbox is jumping in with their Game Pass, doing stuff for the gamers. PlayStation's been doing stuff for the gamers, so they don't need to do anything like that. They're trying to reach outward now. They're reaching outward while Xbox is still, trying to bring in the main core audience. PlayStation's expanding their audience. They're like, hey, NBA, Paul George, yo. And it's the most authentic guy who could wear the shoe because the dude plays games. I don't know what type of games he likes. I just know the dude plays games. Okay, he's talked about it before. He likes PlayStation, Xbox. So this is huge. And you could just see like the two directions that Microsoft and PlayStation are going with. Microsoft, as I said, they're still trying to find their gamers. They need to work on those games if they really want to bring them in. But they're trying to find their gamers and keep them there. Where PlayStation is like, We have the gamers. We already got them. Let's bring in these casuals. Let's bring in these outside people who, maybe they only play Madden and Grand Theft Auto, and that's all they play. Or maybe they don't play anything, but you see PlayStation on a Paul George shoe, and you're like, man, I should get a PlayStation. Even if you don't plan on playing any games, you might be like, I should get a PlayStation. You could play Blu-ray, I could put my movies there. I could watch television, stream my Netflix on. It could be an entertainment center if you want it to be. It's not its main purpose, but you could always make it that. So I like the parallel. Well, it's sort of parallel going on there. Two different directions, but they're both looking to bring in audiences that the other ones have already sort of found, or already tried. Xbox tried with the casuals. That was one of their first plans. That's why they was trying to make an entertainment center more than just a gaming console. The entertainment center first, gaming, they would say it's first, but gaming kind of came second. They want to bring in those casuals. And now PlayStation's attacking with a completely different method, and I think this method works better. Because they have their gamers. Now they just got to reach out to the casuals, get them to buy a PlayStation, maybe turn them into gamers, or not. They ain't gotta even turn to gamers. They can still remain casuals, but you bring them into a world to where they might buy one of your exclusives. That's what you do. You bring them into a world where they might buy one of your exclusives, and then after they buy one of your exclusives, they might get hooked. That's what you want. That's what you want to happen. But those shoes are gonna be extremely hard to get. Do I want a pair? Yes, I do. I do want a pair. Am I gonna be able to get a pair? Probably not. They're $110. Can't buy a $110 pair of shoes. Not right now. I can't. I can't do it tomorrow. Can't do it when I get paid. I can't buy a $110 pair of shoes. I don't spend more than $70 on a pair of shoes. I refuse. Okay. But those are the main stories of the day. Now let's get into quick hits. For those that don't know, quick hits is where I simply breeze over a couple of items that have happened recently that I think people would be interested in, but I don't go into high-def detail spouting out my opinion in the way that I do with the main topics. Now, Batman Episode 4 dropped yesterday. I will give quick thoughts on the episode as I have played it. It's a decent episode. You know how Telltale struggles with those episode 4s. This one's a roughly better episode 4 than what Telltale usually brings to the table. But it had a real good ending, depending on what you do with a certain character. I won't give any spoilers away. It's been getting a lot of 7s. I say that's fair. And, that's a fair score. And speaking of scores, Dragon Ball FighterZ scores are up on Metacritic. It had an 87 the last time I checked. It might have went up or down since then. That's good for a Dragon Ball game. That's good for a fighting game. That's better than Tekken. And Tekken's supposed to be legit fighting game, like Evo fighting game. Dragon Ball FighterZ, it's not really that complex. From what I played and from what other people have played, there's no complexities in the scheme, in the control scheme. But that's kind of what you have to do with a Dragon Ball game because it's Dragon Ball, and you're going to have a lot of casual fans, not hardcore fighting fans playing this game. You cannot give this Street Fighter level competition. This is Dragon Ball. This isn't Street Fighter. It's Dragon Ball. I repeat. I'm going to say it one more time for you hardcore fighting game idiots. This is Dragon Ball. You're going to have a lot of kids. You're going to have a lot of casual fans. They don't care about fighting games. They don't care about Street Fighter, your Tekkens, your King of Fighters. They're all trash to them. But because this is Dragon Ball, guess what? They're going to jump right on this. So, the easy control scheme is benefited. It is well needed. And it should remain. So, stop it. Stop complaining. Stop. Right now. Stop. Bad kids. There are a couple other little quick hits. The PUBG and donations. I don't think anyone truly cares about that. Dissidia drops next week. Well, I didn't wait till next week to say anything on the podcast about it because it popped in my head. There you go. All right, so time for a little switcheroo this week. Last week at the end of the show, I gave a pitch, and I do plan on continuing to do that. And that segment is called On Deaf Ears. Today we're going to switch On Deaf Ears up a little bit, and I'm going to call this one a little controversial. It's a new segment. It'll appear every now and then. A little controversial. The reason why I call it that is because I'm going to give you a thought that I've had for a while that I know is going to just drive a lot of people nuts if they hear it. Now, a lot of people aren't going to listen to this, but if you hear it, you're going to go freaking crazy. You're going to go fucking nuts by hearing this. So, The Last of Us, right? Great game. One of the greatest of all time. One of the best, if not the best, PlayStation exclusives ever hit the shelves. Am I right? Or am I right? Ain't no wrong with that. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. I have to say that I believe that Uncharted 4 is better than The Last of Us. Now, I know some of you going crazy in the comments. That's fine. If you're just going crazy listening after I said that, you might have cut it off. But hear me out. The reason why I say Uncharted 4 is better than The Last of Us is because I have never seen such a perfect ending to a video game franchise than what Uncharted 4 did. And The Last of Us ending as a beginning game or as just a standalone is controversial. I love The Last of Us ending. I think what they did, the way it was a twist, was one of the greatest twists to ever be done in any media form, in any format. The Last of Us is truly a special game. But Uncharted 4 leaves you with something, a feeling that The Last of Us did not. The Last of Us is pure greatness, top down, writing, gameplay, all of that. Uncharted 4, though, it's that. It's what The Last of Us is, but with a kick, with something that punches you in the gut. Maybe it's because you know that this is the last time you'll ever play with Nathan Drake, but it just hits you, man. It punches you, it smacks you, it slaps you, it beats you down. The feeling you get after finishing Uncharted 4 and the way it wrapped up and how just absolutely perfect it was. That it completely, to me, puts enough of a stamp on it to make it better than The Last of Us. I take nothing away from The Last of Us. The Last of Us is still 10 out of 10. But Uncharted 4 is an 11 out of 10. That's not a real score, of course. If I had to give it a real score, like if I worked at a place, it would be 10 out of 10. But when I'm making the comparison, Last of Us 10 out of 10, Uncharted 4 is 11 out of 10. I know a lot of people are going to flip that and going to say, no, Last of Us is the 11, Uncharted is the normal 10. Some people are going to say Uncharted 4 is just a 9. Some people are going to say it's an 8. You might have the one jackass out there who says just a 1. Whatever. You can say what you want. That's why it's called a little controversial. Because this is a little controversial. Maybe a lot controversial, actually. But Uncharted 4 over The Last of Us, if I had to play one of them one more time, like one final time, like if I could only play one of them forever, I'm going Uncharted 4. It was amazing what that game did and what it's done. I mean, nothing could take it away. So that is it for this episode of Daze's Lost Legacy. Now, I do want these to be longer, but in order for these to be longer, I'm going to have to get you guys involved. And right now, no one's going to listen to this. No one's going to listen to this. I know what to expect. But I do plan on, if more people start listening, to take fan questions. To take questions from you guys so I can answer, give my thoughts on them. So that this could turn into, I don't know, an hour-long podcast. But I do like the 20 minutes that I've been sticking with. Keeps my upload speeds very short. And keeps the editing very short. That way I can get it out to you quicker. Once these become longer, then the editing process takes longer, and the uploads takes longer, and then we may go from Wednesdays to Thursdays, just to put that thought out there. It doesn't really matter what day of the week it is. Just know if I do go longer with these, it's going to be recorded one day, uploaded the next. Right now, keeping it in between 20 to 30 minutes, I can record it today, upload it today, edit it today. So just give you thoughts on that in the comments down below. And I hope you guys stick around to every week, every Wednesday. I told you, I'm being consistent with this. I'm going to stick with it. Daze's Lost Legacy. It's going to be a thing, man. It's going to be a thing. I can feel it. So make sure you tune in next week. And until then, bye-bye. Slide around and flex. Disrespect. I guess. Slide around and flex. Disrespect.